Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading here at Mad World Tarot. It is a wild and windy Thursday afternoon, and Fluffy is sleeping on a chair next to me as I do this reading. I have the Tarot of Curious Creatures out on the tarot table for this reading because we're dealing with a rather interesting creature, Jessica Mulrooney, and Sedan, Crazy Days and Nights, has a blind item out, gossip item that says the north of the border former BFF of the illiterate one who was ditched is apparently writing a book. That should be a very interesting read. And of course, everyone is rubbing their hands with glee. Well, I doubt that Meghan Markle is rubbing her hands with glee. We're going to look at her feelings in the next reading. But for now, with the Tarot of Curious Creatures, we're going to do a Celtic cross and have a little look at the story from Jessica Mulrooney's point of view. Of course, she was famously and very publicly cancelled over the Sasha Exeter fiasco a few years ago when she was accused of bullying and racism and things like that, and her very lucrative career came to a screeching halt, as did her husband. They both seemingly were cancelled. She, of course, very well connected in Canadian high society, is the one that seemingly introduced Meghan into that world and is possibly the keeper of all the secrets. I have been thinking about the things that Jessica Mulrooney might know about, and just a list of possibles, a speculative list, of course, hypothetical list, sailing adventures, surrogacy, bullying, whom cry, merching while she was in the royal family, that alleged money deal with clothes that Jessica provided and then were invoiced, and then you know that one, miscarriages, and even things like black, and then I will say the word a bit later, male, as a way of getting has-been to the altar. I'm sure there are things that I have forgotten, but really it is quite a list, as I say, all speculation. And let's remind you, this is tarot for fun and entertainment, and it is all just speculation. It is all just my opinion. And I read energy here, archetypal energy. There is, of course, a disclaimer in the box below. We're going to do a Celtic cross with these cards from Jessica Mulrooney's point of view. She's just made a very cryptic comment on her Instagram account saying something about loving as I am, I know how to detach. I'm misquoting, but it goes along those lines. And people are saying, what is that about? She has been very silent. She has been very loyal. But perhaps money talks. Perhaps she's timing her reveal. It was probably not the wisest thing to do when Meghan's star was rising. But now that her star is falling, and now she's pretty much been exposed for the grifter that she allegedly is, perhaps Jessica feels it's safe to put pen to paper. We all know that the pen is mightier than the sword. I think we've got some energy in these cards finally. Let's just see what's going on. Shuffle those back in. Get the Celtic cross out on the table and see what she's up to. Book or no book? They're still telling me we just need a bit more juice. I know it's irritating, but there we go. Got to get the right reading. I'm starting to feel anxious, which means that the energy is running, which means that people are anxious in this situation. People are feeling stressed, nervous, uneasy. Whoops, I nearly put the wrong cards out. And, I wonder why. I wonder what she knows. We're going to find out. Well, we're going to ask the cards what she might reveal, if she could possibly reveal. We've got the Four of Wands. That's a celebration card right there. It's a happy card, generally. It's something that's very solid, something that's very enduring, the Four of Wands. It's very often a kind of a soulmate vibe. And I think that they were at some level very, very connected. More connected than Meghan is with her other friends. That's my opinion. But they really looked like they were very, very close. Four of Wands is, of course, weddings. So I think we might have some things about weddings in this book. If this book does come out, and of course she had a gig at some stage as a wedding planner kind of a person. I can't remember what it was all about, but that also went and disappeared when the great cancel thing happened to her. Weddings, interesting. Doesn't that look like has been in that suit? Same body shape. He is wearing a belt, which he was not wearing at the Invictus Games, as people pointed out, and the tummy is more taut in this picture than at the Invictus Games, but that has been. That has been. Okay, so I'm getting excited now. What is coming? This is book or no book. That's Queen of Cups. That is her. She's a water sign. She's a Pisces, as far as I can recall. I didn't check now, but I do recall that she's a Pisces. Queen of Cups. There she is, and she's in reverse. So this is somebody who has withdrawn her affection. She said, loving as I am, I know how to detach. That is literally the energy of the Queen of Cups in reverse. Somebody who was very loving, very supportive, very empathetic, very kind, taken that emotion out of the equation, now has gone cold. Ooh. If I were Meghan, I would be nervous just with that card. That's making me nervous again. Half excited, half nervous. So let's see. What is the challenge for her right now? What's the crossing card? The crossing energy. The challenge energy. We have got strength. Lots coming to me all at once with that card, of course. She's going to have to hold her nerve. So from her point of view, she's really going to have to be very brave, hold firm, Four of Wands, and steady and defiant, and it's going to test her, this, if she goes through with it. I'm sure Lois letters will be flying to and fro, but of course it is also the Harry and Meghan card. It's the royal family card as well, the strength card. She could be pushing up against the strengths that Harry and Meghan have. They had anyway, the support that they had, the vocal supporters, the Sugars, the Sussex squad, the journalists who seem to be in their pay, in their pockets, lots of them. Very loud. She's of course been cancelled once already. Does she want to go through that all again? The hate, the abuse, all the rest of it. Some people thought she deserved it, a reserved judgment, but all of that could be aimed at her, that wrath that could be aimed her way, be very, very difficult for her. Pisces, generally sensitive, generally don't want to pick fights with people, kind of people. Vast generalization, of course, but so she's got to gird her loins, but she also knows that she's up against a formidable opponent in Meghan Markle and her cohorts, her Sugars, her journalists, the press, her money that she's got at her disposal now, her lawyers, all the rest of it, arsenal of weapons that she can use against Jessica Mulroney if Jessica goes down this road. What is going on behind the scenes? And we're talking about motive. Why? What's at the root of this rumor that's now leaking? King of Cups is a strange one for me. I don't know if her husband is involved in this. I don't know what sign he is. But I'm almost getting, and this is why I say it's strange, I'm almost getting Trevor. Why would Trevor show up? Trevor is a Scorpio. It's a Scorpio card there. And there are other Scorpios and water signs, royals, Charles, William, all the rest of them. They're all water signs just about. But no, she wouldn't care less about them. And as I say, don't know what her husband is. If he's a water sign, well, then this is him. But if he isn't, it could be because it's a couple, King of Cups, Queen of Cups. It's about them as a couple. So that's the first thing, whether he's a water sign or not. It's in there. But it's also Trevor. And if Trevor isn't going to do it, and there was speculation a while ago, quite recently in fact, that Trevor was sharpening his quill. But no, he's very happily married to a very wealthy woman. Why should he? And a lot of people speculate anyway he was paid off, some sort of NDA in place. We've looked at Trevor in the past. We might look at him again because of that rumour that was circulating recently. But this is interesting because if he's not going to do it, she could do it. That's what I'm getting down here. It's in the hidden, in the roots of things, what's beneath the surface, that kind of vibe in a Celtic cross. There we have it. Interesting. And yeah, okay, I won't look at the next underlying card. Maybe later on. It's an interesting one. We'll see. Her focus now with Meghan and her life in general, with her focus. Ha ha ha, the devil. The devil. Oh, we love to see the devil in these readings, but the devil is in reverse here. So she's separating herself from a toxic influence, from someone who's very dangerous, very negative, brought out the bad side of her, possibly, allegedly. They did like to party, the two of them, allegedly. And certainly the devil is about being chained to something very toxic, being trapped in a toxic situation. And when the card is in the reverse, it is separating yourself, seeing the error of your ways, ridding yourself of those shackles, freeing yourself, all of that. Maybe wanting to come clean and confess and turn over a new leaf. So she certainly doesn't want to go back into that toxic relationship. She's now looking at that friendship and thinking, what on earth was I doing in such a situation? A situation where she might have sailed quite close to the wind. And I mean that literally as well as figuratively. So tell us about the past, what's happened in the past that might be influencing current energies. Yeah, we've got the Tower and the Tower in reverse. This is her being cancelled. Her world literally falling apart, her whole life collapsing around her. Card is in the reverse because she has spent some time, I think, healing and trying to fix herself, repair the damage, rebuild her life quietly away from the public gaze. It's a massive card. It is absolutely what happened to her, very sudden. It came out of the blue and there she was gone. And she has stayed gone. She's popped up every now and then, but mostly she's stayed gone for a good few years now, while she's obviously tried to fix herself. So it's very interesting. We've got these major arcana here. Herself going through this trauma, now very focused on getting out of this toxic environment that she was in, and I think making her peace with it. I think she's had a bit of a moment. A religious moment. I don't know how religious she is, but she's had some kind of a wake up, because the Tower is a wake up. The Tower is, what are you doing? Why are you building your life on such shaky ground? And the shaky ground was Meghan Markle and her issues and her problems and her lack of substance as a human being. Her faults, and we all quite clearly see her faults because she parades them for us to see every time she steps out the door, and even when she doesn't step out the door but sends her lawyers after people or her journalists writing hit pieces or whatever. Anyway, let's move on to the future. What's coming next in terms of a book? A possible book, a rumoured book. We got the Sun in reverse. Lots of things coming with this card as well, all layers and layers of energy. Of course, first of all, the Sun is Leo, that's Meghan Markle, it's in reverse. It could really damage her reputation, take her down, because it's about power and publicity and popularity and things like that as well. The Sun in reverse, very damaging to her. It is potentially very damaging to her. The other thing about the Sun, as I said yesterday in one of the readings I did, is that the Sun is about illumination and clarity and shining a light on something. So perhaps if we're hoping for clarity about certain situations, we might in the near future be disappointed that we're not getting the kind of clarity we were hoping for, because if anyone is the keeper of secrets, as I said at the beginning of this reading, it is Jessica Mulroney. She knows all. we suspect, we speculate. What does she know that's particularly damaging to Meghan Markle? That's our next question. What does she possibly know that she could tell us about? Knight of Cups. For some reason, I'm thinking that that is the dear friend Marcus. I don't know what sign he is. I've always got the notion that he's a water sign. I suspect that. It's just a suspicion, even if he's not literally a water sign, and he's got a moon or something in the water sign. He's slippery. Water signs can be slippery. But he seems to be quite intuitive as well. That he seems to get people to confide in him. And seems to relate to people and connect with people. You never hear people saying nasty things about him. So Knight of Cups, I suspect it's that. The Knight of Cups is, of course, somebody who goes wooing and is manipulative in their wooing. When it's upright, it's not so bad. But this could be how the has-been was caught. That famous, infamous night in Toronto all those years ago at the Invictus Games, and which are now returning to Canada, as far as I understand it, Vancouver, I think, next time round, 2025. But this is someone being, I have to watch my words, being enticed, shall we say, encouraged into a situation that may not be to their benefit. Just my feeling from the card, the vibe I'm getting. And of course it seemed like there was not a consortium, but a group that were working together. Maybe Jessica, maybe Marcus, maybe some other people, maybe Doria was in on it, but maybe some of the other friends as well were in on the whole thing to get to this point. And of course this is sitting under everything, so we must not forget that the end game was not Eamon Scobie's book, but the wedding. And a lot of them seemingly did very well out of that wedding and the entrees into British society that they got, or the royal family that they got, which is of course the firm as well. What is the pressure that she is under from around her circumstances, what's going on? There we've got the Eight of Cups. She would rather not think about this because it's very painful. I think she genuinely was very fond of Meghan. Even more strong word than that, people speculate that it might have been a very intense connection, shall we just say. Eight of Cups is somebody who doesn't want to look at the past, who would rather just leave it behind and get on with their lives. And I think she has been trying to. But I'm getting the vibe in this reading, it's just an overall vibe, that this is almost therapy for her. She might have been sitting as part of this tower in reverse and this devil in reverse. She might have been journaling. She might have been in therapy. She might have been talking to people about stuff. She might have been encouraged by her husband. You need to get this off your chest. You need to clear this so that you can move on. There's a desire here to move on, but it's difficult at the moment for her. Let's look at her hopes and fears around a situation. Ooh, we got the High Priestess in reverse. That is secrets coming out. But also, it's more sinister than that when it's in reverse, because the High Priestess is intuition. It's Pisces, very Pisces. It's her. I think she's almost worried that somebody could use, how do I say this? A certain arts against her, High Priestess type arts, that might damage her. I think she's worried that she might find herself in another tower situation, whether a literal tower situation of her world falling down again, or more of a psychological, more damaging at a spiritual level, soul level, that kind of thing. I don't want to get too dark and sinister here because it's tarot for fun and entertainment. You know the drill. But the High Priestess in reverse, she's worried about her reputation. She's worried about her own secrets being exposed, of course. So she's worried about a lot of things and very serious things. And I think that she's taking a lot of time to think this through. If she decides to go through with this thing, she's up against it with the Strength card as her opposing energy, and she's up against it here with the High Priestess in reverse, her own secrets being revealed, her own sensitivity as a Pisces, finding it difficult to deal with the level of attack that she might experience, but also at a psychic level, let's put it like that. It's a level of psychic attack that she might be concerned about. So that's a very interesting card. And the outcome, book or no book, what are we going to be seeing with this? What is going to happen? We've got a Knight of Wands, but it's in reverse. I think that she's going to be stopped, unfortunately, because this upright is very adventurous, very brave, courageous, bold, traveling, communicating, doing, very passionate about something, but it's in reverse, and my sense is that that flame is extinguished. It follows from the sun. In reverse here, which tells me that she might be shut down, she might lose her nerve, she might just get quite depressed. Here it's a card of depression, that she might be eclipsed. Is she going to be shut down? Let's ask. Is she going to be shut down? We're going to check in the next reading, but I just want to know, clarify that, oops, sorry, knocking the camera, clarify that Sun in reverse, the Knight of Wands in reverse, because they're quite similar energies. Is she going to be shut down? What's going to happen? Doesn't look like book to me. I'm not getting signs of writing. I'm getting signs of, it's come out sideways. Is she being shut down? Six of Wands. It's come out like that, which is neither upright or reverse. I look at her and I think of her. I'm sure I've seen her wearing a very similar outfit. But she's come out sideways, so it's neither winning nor losing, which would be just not doing. Because if she actually does it, she's going to be very successful, or she's going to be very unsuccessful. But when it's undecided like this, I think at the moment she is probably veering on that. Let's not do it. Let's just leave it. It's too dangerous, it's too painful, too many secrets might come out of her own. And she's trying to recover and she is trying to move on. But interesting cards here. She certainly has been through it. She certainly suffered and struggled and is still suffering and struggling. She is certainly, there's no love lost when it comes to Meghan Markle. She does not look back at the past and think that she made wise choices there at all. It's definitely wedding related. What she knows and what would be behind this book. Interesting that Trevor might have shown up here, or husband said, do this, write your book, do whatever you need to do to get closure and move on. I'm not seeing a book here with the Knight of Wands in reverse. I'm seeing someone who loses their nerve, someone who puts that flame out, someone who says, I'm not seeing any money cards here, any pentacles. So it's not about money. It's not somebody who's dangling a big carrot and she's saying, oh, all right, yeah, okay. This is more about her own sense of closure, her need for closure, and whether she needs to go on this journey. And it will be quite a harrowing, quite a bumpy ride with the Strength card there and the Sun in reverse. And I don't think she's got the nerve for it, unfortunately. But we'll keep an eye on this story. That's what I've got for you so far. I'm going to check it from Megan's side anyway to see what's happening over there in the next reading.